American workers earning $100,000 a year, the workday can be as long as 14 hours. Do you know how tough a single day can be? For 30 a.m., 23-year-old Joanna is resting. I already need to wake up on time. Can't help it, this is just Joanna's job for now. I'm a concrete mixer truck driver. It's completely normal to start work this early. After waking up, Joni first goes to the bathroom to brush her teeth. After washing up, then I'll pack some cookies and fruit in my bag for breakfast. Then he can drive his own BMW. M2 is off to work. It's worth mentioning, since Joanna prioritized comfort, choosing to rent a place in a remote suburban area, so her commute isn't exactly short, even without traffic. It also takes over 40 minutes. After Joanna arrived at the office, first, I need to drive the mixer truck to load the concrete. During this time, Joanna will grab a bite to eat while she's at it. After all, once things get busy later, there's basically no free time left. Filling complete, Joni now is heading out to her first worksite of the day. Joanna's current job responsibilities. Overall, it's pretty straightforward. Overall, it's about following the tasks that the company has planned out in advance, just transporting concrete back and forth. That sounds pretty relaxing. However, there are things to be mindful of. That's not a small amount at all. This Joni was under construction. You have to be there in person to operate it. Make sure the concrete can flow out smoothly. Then he immediately has to grab the hose. Carefully rinse the drainage outlet. Keep the machine clean. Otherwise, when heading to the next worksite, if there are any residual concrete lumps, this can cause blockages in the delivery system. This is affecting our work progress. Joanna now needs to rinse while climbing up and down to check everything. Only after a thorough cleanup. Only then can Joanna return to the driver's seat, heading to the next construction site. Gotta say, after a whole day like this, the workload was absolutely maxed out. But the income is quite substantial. For example, with Joanna working 22 days a month, wages, commissions, and tips all combined can all reach over $8,000, much higher than the average office worker. Even though it's dirty and tiring work, but for someone with his low level of education, it's actually a really great profession. Joanna since she was little. I was born into a family that wasn't well off. She never liked studying. I started working at a very young age. I've done my fair share of tough jobs before, and a job that doesn't pay well, like a network engineer in the West. Waitress, wait a moment, at most, I can earn around $2,000 a month. It's just enough to get by. Luckily, he didn't give up on the case. Instead, I took the time to get my truck driver's license again. Finally, I successfully got into the industry and became a truck driver. The first event takes us to 2 p.m. Johnny finally finished half a day's work, but then, he still couldn't rest right away. Instead, we need to quickly rinse the inside of the tank clean with water before I can get back to the office, grabbing a quick lunch during my break. Of course, it won't take too long either. I need to get this done in just over 10 minutes, because after eating, I still need to quickly clean the exterior of the tank. Then we continue pouring the concrete we'll need for this afternoon. Back to the construction site again. Johnny usually stays up late every night. I usually get home around 9:30. Then I took a shower and ate some dumplings. Regarding my current situation, Joni's tears had moistened the spot a little, but I'm quite satisfied with it. At least the pay is much better than before. Plus, I get 2 days off every week. My body has recovered enough. This is what a day in the life of an American worker looks like. So that's all for this video. What are your thoughts on this type of work? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. In the US, if a girl doesn't focus on her studies and ends up without a degree, her options often shrink to manual labor jobs. At 5:10 in the morning, 23-year-old Jenny is already up. And in her work clothes. She doesn't even have time for breakfast. Before she quickly puts on her shoes, there's one important thing left to do. Putting on her makeup. After all, as a young woman, nothing feels more essential before heading out the door. But if you ask me, those eyelashes are way too curled, aren't they? Before the sun is even up, Jenny is already driving to work. Makes you wonder what she actually does for a living. The roads are pretty empty this early. So Jenny gets there in just over 10 minutes. Calling it a company might be a stretch, it's more like a work site. She works as a stalker, and the break room is shared by dozens of people. Before her shift starts, Jenny grabs a free piece of cake to eat. Right now, she works at a Walmart chain store. It's worth mentioning that Walmart is the world's largest company by revenue, with over 10,000 stores worldwide, and more than 2 million employees. So, technically, Jenny's an employee of a Fortune 500 giant. Once she finishes the cake, it's time to get to work. And to get started, she first needs to use this handheld device. Once you log in at the start of your shift, the system assigns you tasks. A massive chain like Walmart is highly automated and efficient, with assigned tasks tracking your progress. Slacking off just isn't an option. As a stalker, Jenny's main job right now is restocking items that are running low on the shelves. It seems simple, and honestly, it's not complicated. It's basically manual labor. The pay isn't great either. She only makes $3,500 a month. The reason she started doing this so young is mainly because she didn't take school seriously. She skipped class constantly, hung out with the wrong crowd, and ended up dropping out of high school. When she first entered the workforce, without any qualifications, finding a decent job was hard. Doors kept closing on her. Just to get by, she eventually applied for a job as a stalker at Walmart, just as a temporary thing. But that temporary job has now lasted 5 years. The work is incredibly monotonous and draining. Over time, reality has worn her down, smoothing out her edges. After a short 15-minute break, Jenny heads back to the sales floor. She checks her progress from the morning. Unsurprisingly, she's ranked first again, with numbers way ahead of everyone else. She thinks about slacking off for a bit now, figuring no one will notice. But suddenly, the manager is right behind her. Guess she spoke too soon. Pretty embarrassing, huh? With a sigh, Jenny gets back to work. Now she's handling online grocery pickup orders. It's not exactly difficult, but it's not easy either. There are many orders, and they need to be filled quickly. If you lose focus even for a moment while picking, you can easily grab the wrong item. And any mistakes will lead to negative reviews against you. After another 2 hours of work, Jenny finally gets ready for lunch. There's no subsidized meal, and she can't take too long, so she just buys something from the supermarket. It has variety and is relatively cheap, making it a decent option. After lunch, Jenny needs to finish the remaining orders. Being a stalker might sound pretty easy, but watching her day, she only rests during her meal break. The rest of the time, she's constantly on the move. Right after finishing the orders, new tasks pop up on her device. Jenny has to go back to stocking shelves. This continues non-stop until 3 p.m., when she finally clocks out. To avoid being recognized by customers, Jenny puts on a jacket. It saves her from being stopped and wasting time. She doesn't have much of a social life. After work, she usually heads straight home. To cope with the stress, Jenny turns to working out to clear her mind. She's not happy with her current life, but she feels powerless to change it, so she just quietly accepts it. After the gym, Jenny buys some groceries and heads home to cook. With her modest salary, cooking at home helps her save money. Otherwise, she'd be living paycheck to paycheck. Most of her evenings are spent scrolling on her phone. Before midnight, Jenny goes to sleep. A USMD intern earning $6,000 monthly enjoys a flexible, stress-free work life. He never works overtime. Do you know how comfortably he spends his day? 6:25 a.m. As soon as the alarm rings, 21-year-old Jack gets up on time. Still a university student, he's currently interning at a US semiconductor company. The company has over 10,000 employees, went public in the US in '72, and is a well-established major corporation. After washing up, he packs his bag. Jack usually works from home, but today there's a group intern meeting, so he has to go to the office. And he has to leave quite early. Living in the suburbs, his commute takes over an hour. Living in the US, a vast, sparsely populated country, it's really hard to get around without a car or a license. This feeling of needing to drive everywhere isn't something I really like. What do you think? Finally, at 8:20 a.m., Jack arrives at the company. And that's without much traffic. From this perspective, it makes sense why many US tech companies support employees working from home. After all, as a software engineer, you can work from anywhere with a computer, so there's no need for all this hassle. Settling at his desk and booting up his computer, Jack first checks emails and replies to messages, seeing what his manager has scheduled. This gives him a clear idea of the day, so he can manage his time better, even for slacking off. After handling that, it's time for some free pie. Jack goes to grab a cup of coffee. It's free anyway. Might as well have some. Of course, work still needs to be done. Being an intern, he can't be as relaxed as the full-time employees. In the morning, Jack either attends meetings or writes code. It's pretty monotonous. He doesn't want to stay a second longer, so he heads out as soon as it's lunchtime. Compared to other top companies, the benefits here are much worse. Employees don't get basic meals. To get lunch, you have to drive a few miles away. Honestly, the company location is quite remote. It took a 30-minute drive to get here. Lunch is a fruit salad and a baguette, costing $19. Driving all the way out here, ordering delivery might be more cost-effective, right? 1 p.m., driving back to the office. There's still plenty of traffic, but the return trip is much faster. Do you know why? 1:15 p.m., back to work. It's a bit tough right after eating, but foreigners generally don't have a napping habit, so he powers through, not wanting to be the exception. 2 p.m. Packs his laptop to take a walk and slack off a bit. Working here, whether you're an intern or a full-time employee, it's very flexible. As long as you finish your daily tasks on time, no one will micromanage you, because your boss is slacking off too. The whole day is just walking around, eating, and incidentally getting some work done. Time flies by quickly. 3 p.m. Jack heads to the common area for a social session. The social is basically just eating snacks and chatting. But for him, who isn't great at socializing, this process is even more painful than coding. After the session ends, Jack decides to play a couple of games to relax. The company provides various game consoles, letting you enjoy leisure time during work breaks. Maybe he got too into it, but over 10 minutes later, he remembers there's a task left unfinished. Jack immediately finds an empty room to quickly fix the bug. If he doesn't deliver today, getting a full-time offer might be risky. Luckily, it's not a big issue. Jack solves it smoothly and finishes his work ahead of time. There's still some time before clocking out, so he goes to the company gym to work out. Don't be fooled by Jack's slim build. He does pull-ups without getting winded. Seems like his workload isn't saturated enough. Still having this much energy after a day's work. 7 p.m., heads home after the workout. Working overtime? Absolutely not. With a monthly salary of $6,000, life really can't get much more comfortable. Just the commute is a bit long.